Arsenal played another London derby against a top 6 rival, and it had the same outcome, another 2-2 draw, but in completely different circumstances. We're going to be talking about that, Everton's potential fate, and how Man United's topsy-turvy season is rolling on. This is One Kick from Glory, and it's just myself and Craig here today. And we're going to start off with that game at the Bridge, a 2-2 draw, massive contrast to the Spurs game, which was also a 2-2 draw, but felt like a loss. This one feels like a win. To start off with, Craig, how did you feel after the game with the result being what it was?
I was relieved that we got the 2-2 draw, could have won it in the end. If Nketiah had that chance, could have won it. We're 2-0 down into the 70th minute. We're 2-0 down. Then Arteta made 2 changes. And then Declan Rice scored that screamer from the goalkeeper made an error, scored that screamer from outside the box. Then after that, also Arsenal were pushing forward to get the next goal, the second goal, got the equaliser. Trossard came on, got the equaliser, good crossing from Saka. And then after that, we had another chance to score the winner. Nketiah was put through, a long ball from Ben White there. Nketiah made a challenge with Thiago Silva. The ball was narrowly wide of the post. On another day, it would have gone in. So I was very relieved that we left the Bridge with 2 points, with 1 point, because we could have lost that game. In other seasons, in Arteta's couple of years when we first started, we would have lost that game. Yeah,
it's definitely an interesting one. I think that just looking at the way how the game went, I think for Chelsea to go 2-0 up at home, they would have believed and expected they could hold on and maybe push on with that. But we really fought back well and got that draw, like you said. I want to start off with, obviously the first goal, the main instant of the game. A cross was whipped in from the right-hand side from Chelsea. It hit Saliba on the arm. The on-field referee and the assistant referees felt it was fine, nothing to give. VAR called it back for review. It's given as a penalty for handball. Do you agree with that decision, or do you think that there comes a time when the on-field referees call, or do you think the on-field referee should have stuck with his call and not given it?
I thought it was very harsh on Saliba just jumping for the ball. It wasn't like he had his hand like that, off in the air like that. He tried to jump for the ball and he headed it, and then obviously his hand was there and the ball hit his hand. But what else could he have done? If he didn't do that, he would have fell on his shoulder. So it was not like he did it on purpose. And the referee never gave it, and the assistant never gave it. VAR is what told the referee to go give it. So they gave away a penalty for that one, but also still had a penalty when Robert Sanchez punched Jesus after a corner. The ball was already gone, so that should have been a penalty as well. So, and VAR never told us to check it either. So I think we did get an apology. Arsenal did get an apology from the referee union, saying that they made an error. Yet again, that's 3 errors this season they've made against us now. So it's counting up now. So I feel that the referee made an error. If he gave one penalty, he has to give the other penalty as well, I
think for me, my biggest issue is the lack of consistency. I don't really want these apologies because they don't give anything to the team, they don't help. And there's not really seems to be changing how referees manage these games, because it's like they'll give an apology to a team, and yet you fast forward 2 weeks or 2 more game weeks, and another issue's been made in a similar manner, in a similar vein. So they're not really learning. And it doesn't help what's meant to be, one of the best leagues in the world. But that being said, Cole Palmer had his penalty. He took it really, really well. Very, very composed. We've talked about Cole Palmer on the podcast before. We've talked about how from pre-season it looked like he was going to be the man to replace Mahrez for Man City and really step into that role off the right wing. Obviously, they've sold him to Chelsea, and he's really kind of cemented his place on that right wing now. He looks like one of their key players for not just for this season, but obviously for years to come. I guess for you, how impressed are you with Cole Palmer, and do you really think that he is going to be a key, crucial part of Chelsea's success this season, whatever that looks like?
I feel with Cole Palmer, he had the confidence to take the penalty and to take it from a senior player like Sterling, an international player like Sterling, who's played in World Cups, European Championships and all that. For him to say to Sterling, I'm taking the penalty, and then Enzo Fernandez told Sterling, give him the ball, he'll take the penalty. That shows balls. That shows that he's got the minerals to take a penalty in a big London derby. So I think Cole Palmer is going to be the quality player. He's going to be a top player. He's a humble guy. Just gets on with it. You don't see him in the newspapers. You don't see him online and all that nonsense. See, he just wants to play football. And that's what any young player who's coming up in football. Watch how he comes in, gets the job done. He got taken off. He wasn't happy getting taken off, but he took it in his stride, and the manager congratulated when he came off. And he made a massive impact. I think him and Sterling coming off in the game, turn the tide of Arsenal when coming back into the game. Because if we never took them off, I feel like there would have been more pressure on us as well. So I thought him taking off them 2 players gave us more oomph to go at the other end and score the 2 goals. So I feel that Cole Palmer's a quality player, and I feel like if he continues this way, he could definitely be a late entry into the England squad for the Euros if he continues with this form right now. So yeah.
Speaking of one other player that, has always had the headlines, hotly spoken about, we missed out on him back in January, and that is, of course, Mudryk scored a screamer of a goal. Do you think he meant it?
Nah, just crossing the ball.
Yeah, because he's been coming out saying, the goalkeeping torch class to watch Raya. But when you look at the alternative angle, you can see he's looking at Sterling, and he's just absolutely mishit that, to put it in. Fair play to him. Good goal. Loved the celebration as well. I thought it was nice that he had that highlight moment. I think it's important for him, especially at Chelsea, to keep performing, because we know in that squad there's a lot of players there. It looks a bit of a joke, but, these guys have got to get minutes and perform. And I guess within that goal, we know it takes 2 to tango. It was a good hit by Mudryk because it went in. But the goalkeeper, there's been a lot of conversation around David Raya, especially off the back of this game we had against Sevilla, which we won, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But with David Raya, it's a weird one in that he really seems to be causing a lot of panic amongst the fan base. Not so much his teammates, because when you watch how we're playing, they're not refusing to give him the ball. They're still playing to him the same way. And clearly he's got the manager's trust because he keeps getting picked. But he isn't really filling us as fans with confidence per se. Do you think Mikel needs to switch it up a little bit? And what's your general thoughts on Raya's performances these last 3 games?
I feel like his performance has been poor. You got to call it how it is. He got lucky against Chelsea in the second half when the player was Jackson went round him and he's able to grab it, and Cole Palmer went round him as well. Gave the ball to Cole Palmer, and Cole Palmer could have scored. I feel like he's been very shaky since the Champions League game. He made that mistake in the Champions League game against Lon. He's looked very shaky. He's shaky against Lon, shaky against Man City, shaky against Chelsea, shaky against Sevilla last night. So he's not learning from his mistakes. It's like, if you know you're not confident enough, like, just tell the manager, you know what, boss, I'm not really feeling confident right now. Can I take me out of the firing line? Because one of these days he's gonna concede a goal, is gonna cost us the game. I hope not, but the way it's continuing, I feel like Ramsdale should have started. Hopefully gets a start this weekend against Old Club Sheffield United, just to give him, because he I know he got dropped and he was making mistakes as well, but I feel that you give Raya a chance now, and maybe you should start giving Ramsdale a chance again, and then gauge it between the two keepers, see who's doing better and whatever, and then make a decision from there.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because someone put up a stat recently, said that out of the 6 games, that if you take 6 games both goalkeepers have played so far this season, Ramsdale's kept 1 clean sheet, Raya's kept 3.
Yeah.
So if you go based on performances and what he's doing in terms of what the manager wants, Raya is the better goalkeeper. Now, the issue right now is that his performances are not matching the stature of a club like Arsenal. Like, he looks like a player who has gone to the big league and can't handle it. Because the mistake, even like in the end of the game against Sevilla, when a cross got put in and he went to punch it and almost punched it into his own net, and just by the grace of God, it went on top of the crossbar and out for a corner. And it was just a heart and mouth moment. But he just seemed very shaky, and he just seems very nervy, and it seems to me like he's just taking a lot of time to do simple things like pass the ball out, like move it forward. He just takes longer than he needs to. And it's not filling the fan base with confidence. But clearly the manager's happy with what he's doing. And then the manager's giving comments to say that, previous goalkeepers have not done what he wanted, which is how we play out from the back. One thing you got to give Raya is that he doesn't shy away from passing out from the back. He keeps doing stuff. Now, sometimes how he's doing it is giving us kittens. And it reminds me a lot of when Emery first took over and we were playing out from the back and the fans couldn't handle it. Because obviously Leno wasn't good. Cech was terrible with his feet. Leno was a bit better. So we'll keep progressing in what we want to do play style wise. But yeah, it's difficult to watch. And I hear what you're saying about Ramsdale. I don't know if he will come back in. It would be nice, but I don't know if he will. But just on that note, do you think that this... I know Arteta himself said that he wants a situation where you can swap goalkeepers out on the fly, we can make that substitution. He hasn't done it so far. do you feel like he now needs to act on meritocracy and be like, you know what, as much as Raya's given us a lot of good stuff, these little shaky mistakes, they've not punished us yet, but they could. Do you think that conversation is going to come up soon? He might have to make a choice to bring back Ramsdale.
100%. It's going to have to sooner or later, because if you continue making errors in games when we lead, like yesterday we were 2-0 off against Sevilla, and then he didn't, I don't know, for the goal he conceded, it was a very soft goal, wasn't it, when he conceded yesterday?
No, that was more poor defending. It was a corner in and a free header by their centre-back, Goodell, and Jesus was the wrong side of the defender, so he didn't really put much pressure on him. The only thing with that goal is I think there should have been someone on the post. So if someone on the post, that's right in their zone, and they can just get rid of it. But we went man for man and zonal, and we just didn't. Jesus was the wrong side. Actually, it's the wrong player on that player. Like, you don't put one of your weaker headers of the ball against one of their better players in the box. So, yeah.
Well, I feel that I would love to see Ramsdale start this weekend, because just rest Raya for this weekend, take him out the firing line and give Ramsdale a start, because I feel that like he does it, like end of the day he's coming training every week. Well, it depends what they're doing training, to be honest. Why the manager picked Raya over Ramsdale. He must be doing something special in training for him to be picked every week. So, but the manager did say that he will change keepers from time to time. So I think he needs to like try and give Ramsdale a start somewhere. I know we've got the Carabao Cup coming up. I think it's this next week, I think, if I'm correctly, against West Ham. I think it's West Ham we've got next in the Carabao Cup. So I'm hoping to see Ramsdale starting that, and then if he does well, hopefully he gets some minutes again soon.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. He's definitely going to need to have a good run of games, because right now it's tough. It's a lot of pressure. And obviously with every passing mistake, you kind of look at it. So yeah, Arsenal have got Sheffield United next in the league, and then in midweek it's West Ham at the London Stadium in the EFL Cup. So that should be Ramsdale's game back. And if Arteta does it how he's been doing it previously, he might keep Raya in for the Premier League game, bring Ramsdale back for the Cup and keep him in, because there will be West Ham, Newcastle in the league, Sevilla away, Sevilla at home in the Champions League, and then Burnley at home in the Premier League, and then Brentford away, and then Lens again. So that could be a good run of games to keep Ramsdale in if he switches it again. But the issue with what he's done is we have two number one goalkeepers, and no one really has two number one goalkeepers and can keep them both happy. So we'll see how it goes. But at the minute, it ain't quite working out. On the one hand, in terms of like the feel, but in terms of the numbers and performances, not numbers and what the manager wants, I think Raya is doing the job really well. But I loved our comeback as well. Obviously, Declan Rice scored a wonder goal after a poor kick out from Sanchez. There's been rumours that Robert Sanchez or Chelsea are looking at picking up Ramsdale on a cheap deal. £110 million, please, if you want to enter negotiations. But how impressed have you been with Declan Rice? I feel like every time I see him play, he is just showing more and more and more like he is going to be one of the all-time Premier League greats, and comfortably going to be in that conversation as an Arsenal legend in time to come.
Future Arsenal captain, I said it last week, he's going to be a future Arsenal captain. I feel that he's doing more leadership, he's leading with his feet and it's organising the team. He's doing more than what Odegaard's been doing recently, no pun intended, but I feel like Declan Rice is leading with his feet. He's just a natural leader. Back in the day, you have people like Roy Keane, lead by example. Patrick Vieira, lead by example. Brian Robson, for Man United back in the day, lead by example. Frank Lampard, lead by example. I could go on and on and on. Steven Gerrard, leading by example. These players were elite Premier League winners, or except Gerrard, but Lampard.
But Gerrard's an elite winner. He won Champions League, won FA Cup,
all these players are elite winners, so they're all won massive trophies for their clubs, and they're all taking games with the struff their neck and gone and done something spectacular in the game to either win the game or win a trophy for the club. Like Gerrard did it in the Champions League final against AC Milan, they were 3-0 down. Keane did it in the semi-final of the Champions League in '99. Lampard did it in the final against Bayern Munich. Vieira did it in the big game against Man United in the FA Cup final, scored the winning penalty. So all these players have got credentials to their names, and everyone knows what they did and their history. I think Declan Rice is going to be the next one out of that bunch. And I think the amount of money we paid for him is a bargain. Look at this. Chelsea bought Caicedo for all that money, and he hasn't really shown what he can do with all that money. He did play well against the other day, to be fair, but Declan Rice cost less than him, and Declan Rice has led the team. He scored crucial goal against United in the game we needed him to score. Scored a crucial goal against Chelsea when we were 2-0 down. The guy just doesn't know the word of giving up. We're 2-0 down. My first head would have dropped. He was still pushing the team forward after we scored the goal. He said, come on, let's get another one. Let's get another one to win the game. That's the type of players Arsenal have lacked for years. As much as I love Thomas Partey, if he could stay fit, him and Declan Rice in that midfield too will be one hell of a problem. But he can't stay fit. That's the problem. That's the biggest issue as well. So Declan Rice has to play all the games this season because we have nobody else that is good enough to replace him in the team.
Well, I think the good thing is it shows the market opportunity for us in January in terms of how we upgrade the squad. We know that Partey can't stay fit. We know that El Neni, he's there as a goodwill from the club, but he's not likely to play much competitive football. Jorginho can do a job, but again, you want to really upgrade on that for what we want to do for this year. But I'm loving the fact that Rice has settled in really well and he's kind of just bringing himself every week and just showing that the form he showed at West Ham, he's just brought it to Arsenal and just doing a bit more. I don't necessarily think he's overly different from his time at West Ham. I think there's a lot of things he was doing there that he's doing here. It's just that the spotlight's different. It's just that the expectations are a lot higher, and as a result, we're seeing more of his quality on a more consistent basis. But a lot of what he was doing, he did at West Ham. It's just that he's doing it a lot more frequently in his time at Arsenal. But I'm really, really happy with what he's doing at the club. And like I said, he's the captain without the armband. Odegaard's more of a quiet leader, but his last couple of games have been off the boil. So we need to see him step up. And I've been very glad with Arteta with his substitutions, like you mentioned. In the past, we've been very critical of the manager for not getting his subs done in any kind of semblance of pattern or skill and just seemingly sticking with the same players for 70 minutes, then just trying something different. But, he's brought on Smith Rowe for Odegaard this season. In fact, in that same game against Chelsea, the other night, he brought on Havertz for Odegaard. So he's happy to just get the guy. If someone's not performing, he's happy to take out players that you saw as unsubstitutable in previous seasons. But talking about substitutions, obviously Trossard came off the bench, got the goal, the crucial goal to make it 2-2. How impressed, and I do want to mention that, how important do you think it is now that Arteta seems to have figured out that he needs to trust a wider number of players in the squad?
That's what cost us to win the league last season. We kept on playing the same 11 every game and players got burnt out. Let's be real, players got burnt out and injured. This season he's rotating the squad a bit more now. He's making crucial changes in the game. Like he brought on Tomiyasu, who played well against Chelsea. When he came on second half, he was more solid than Shevchenko. At the moment, Shevchenko's not really working for us at the moment. His form is not good. He wants to keep on cutting into midfield. Don't have the backup to back him up in that midfield when he goes forward in the midfield area. Tomiyasu will stay at a left back and he will go forward and support Martinelli, so they have that good link-up chemistry there. And I feel that it's working for us. We've been in transition as well, and defending as well is very tall. He can head the ball out and very composed as well. And he's a very hard-working player, as you need as a team. You've got Ben White on the other side doing the same job, hard-working, gets on with it, doesn't moan, doesn't complain, just gets on with the job. So I feel that that's a good thing, and I feel that we're doing well. We're doing well with the way how he's making the changes and all that. He knows when to make the right change. He took off Jesus. It was having a stinker. Didn't do anything. Brought on Nketiah made a good run for almost scored a goal. So it's good to see that players on the bench are hungry to come on and make an impact. There's one player I haven't seen for the last couple of games. I don't know if he's injured. Fabio Vieira, is he injured?
No, I just don't think he's been used because the last few games we've played, I don't think would have suited him that well.
He hasn't played in the last 4 games now, I think it is, from career, or 3 games.
Yeah, the last 3. I don't think the Man City game. No, the Man City game, he didn't feature. Did he feature?
Didn't he come on for Saka? No,
Saka, he came on Saka on the wing. Yeah.
No, Saka wasn't playing that game.
I think he played in that game. So the Chelsea game he didn't play.
Saka didn't play in the
Yeah, so Chelsea game he didn't play, and the Lens game he came on or started, and then obviously he hasn't played against Sevilla. I just think it's just different players, different systems. I mean, even you could argue the Man City game, we didn't bring on Smith Rowe, didn't bring on Vieira, we didn't make a lot of changes. So I think someone's just got to look at what the game's saying, and you've got to be kind of strategic with who you bring on. Obviously, the fact that Jorginho started the last couple of games, which is a bit of a surprise to some people, and Havertz to be on the bench, is the manager trying something a bit different. So I don't have an issue with that, but we'll see how it all plays out. Obviously, people are a bit confused as to how we are playing this season because we're not dominating matches like we used to. In the fact that last season, I think they said in the first 30 minutes of games, we used to blitz teams and score very much. We've barely scored a goal in the first 30 minutes of matches this season. We're going for a more methodical approach. Is that something you're okay with, or do you want to see Arsenal be a bit more aggressive in how we start matches?
The issue is last season we were blitzing teams left, right, and centre. I feel like this season he's doing it. It's emerged like the subs. In fact, subs are the ones that are coming off the bench and scoring goals. So I feel like the starting 11 are not scoring enough goals in the first half to get us to win the game, kill the game off early. So I feel like now he's depending on the bench to get the goals from the bench. So I'd love to see him like, I know we've got Sheffield United on Saturday. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff. I'd love to see him just go and kill the game off before half time and you can rest some of the players. You can take off the Jesus, the Martinellis, the Sakas of the world and give her like a Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe and the Vieira's of this world a nice little 45 minutes then to the play and give them some minutes and confidence to get goals as well. So it would be nice if we could do that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be important, especially as the season rolls on. I think what Arteta is trying to do is have us control games more. And so far, it's working out. Points-wise, we're where we need to be. And we'll go through the table and that kind of fixtures at the end. But we're where we need to be. But talking of the table and teams, obviously this week, Everton's chairman, Bill Kenwright, did pass away. Condolences to his family and to the club. That's a massive loss. He died of cancer. And there's a lot surrounding Everton. We know from last season there was a lot surrounding them in terms of how they stayed up and just the fan sentiment. Obviously, he was one of those people that quite a lot of people wanted to move on in terms of off the board. But I know right now, as a fan base, it's quite a sad time and it's been quite a challenging season for them in general. They had their derby against Liverpool, which they lost away 2-0. Mohamed Salah doing the business again. Listen, guys, fantasy football, if you ain't got Mo Salah in your squad, like I don't right now, might want to put him back in because you're losing out on cash money. But how impressed were you with Liverpool's performance? And of course, we're going to talk about some of the controversial moments in the game, but how impressed were you with what Liverpool did in that match?
Everton kept it tight in the first 45 minutes. It was 0-0. And then second, I think Everton went down to 10 men. Ashton got sent off
In the first half, yeah.
Yeah, and then Liverpool in the second half. Everton was still defending well. Then I thought that Liverpool scored 2 crucial goals. The penalty, the first goal was a penalty. Then the second goal was the counter attack. The way how they broke through the lines of the Everton, the 2 balls, bang, 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 goal.
Classic Liverpool fast attack.
Yeah, fast attack, and they scored a goal, won the game. Salah's been like, since Mane and Firmino's left the last 2 seasons, like last season, this season, he's stepped up a lot. Has been the leader of that front 3 now. He's the man he's the go-to guy. Everything goes through him now. So they still depend on him very regularly. So we'll see what happens at the end of the season if they still keep him or he will get sold in the summer. But I feel like he's really the last one out of all 3 of them that is still scoring the goals, getting the assist, the leader of the club, still the big game player. You still don't want to, when you hear Salah's on the pitch and when he plays Liverpool, everyone will be scared that I don't want to play Liverpool today. He's playing. So Liverpool still got that fear factor about them. So yeah.
They definitely do. And I think obviously in a derby game, you want to get your 3 points, you want to get your win, you want to stamp your authority, and they've definitely done that. And as Marcus said, Everton are their 6-point-a-season team they love to play against. But in this match, there was some controversy. Obviously, Ashley Young got a double, second yellow card, 2 yellow cards, fixed session to get sent off. There was a Konate incident where he could have been sent off and was actually substituted rather than getting that second yellow. Just talk us through what happened and just in general, do you think that was another refereeing mistake?
Yeah, it was definitely another refereeing mistake because Konate made a bad challenge on the play, got booked. Second challenge, he made another bad challenge and didn't get booked again. And then the referee, as soon as that happened, the manager called Joe Matip to get ready. Joe Matip got ready and came on for him. So I feel like in hindsight, if that was at Everton's ground at Goodison Park and Konate did that same challenge twice, he would have been sent off. So I feel like the referee was playing for the occasion. It wasn't playing for the game. So he kind of lost his way in the game because he should have sent off Konate. 100% a bad challenge on.
Would you say it's a similar situation to the Kovacic situation that we had against Man City?
100%. He made 2 bad challenges and should be sent off. Konate made 2 bad challenges and even that's why the manager took him off. If he didn't make that challenge, he would have kept him on the pitch. So he knew if he made another challenge like that again, he'd been off the pitch. So yeah, he had to make that change quickly. So yeah, and I feel like Everton were hard done by as well. They're very hard done by because if he was sent off, I don't think they would have scored. Liverpool would have scored them 2 goals. It would have been a different game. So yeah,
That's interesting.
I think Everton played very well in the derby in the first 45 minutes. It was 0-0. They played very well. They were defending in bank. Like how they played against Arsenal when we beat them. They were defending in bank. They had all the defenders defending before they defend, low blocks and everything. So, and then Pickford made a couple of good saves. Calvert-Lewin was unlucky not to score in the first half. He had a header. If it was a better header, he would have scored. I thought that, yeah, Everton played all right in the first half. The second half, that's when they tired out. When they had the red card, they were down to 10 men. Then Michael Keane gave away the penalty. Silly handball. I don't know, the ball hit his arm like that. And then the referee blew penalty and they get a penalty for that. And then he went to VAR. I think he went to VAR for a penalty. I don't think he gave it straight away. I think it was VAR. And then the referee gave the penalty. And then Salah scored it. And then, yeah.
Well, I think the big news for Everton is not so much what's happening, well, not just what's happening on the pitch, but what's happening off the pitch too. And so there's been news coming out this week that the Premier League are, via an independent panel, are waiting for the results and the verdict, where they may be facing a 15-point deduction for violating financial fair play, which that could get announced any time in the next couple of weeks, which to me, Everton financially have been a shambles of a club, and when Mark's back, we're going to get him to talk a lot about Everton and just what's been going on with them, because it's just all over the place, especially from a Liverpool fan's perspective. But I think also, let's just be honest here and let's be for real. How have Manchester City, with 115 charges, still to this day not got anywhere near a conclusion in this investigation? But Everton, don't get me wrong, equally violating the Premier League's financial fair play records, are going to get punished in record time. Because this feels really quick in comparison to Man City's one. And I don't understand why they're allowed to get away with this and Everton are going to be rightfully punished if they're guilty. But I don't understand it. I know we were talking off before recorded about Everton's prospects this season. I mean, if they do get that 15-point, even if it's a 10-point deduction, do you think that's it and they're going to go down if that happens? And even, let's say that.
It could go down because their confidence will be shot. They might have to sell players in January if they're under that financial fair play. They might have to sell their better players. We don't know with the manager. Would he stay? Would he go? Would he get sacked if the new owners come in? There's a lot to think about. They're building a new stadium as well, so they need Premier League football for that new stadium, or else they don't want to be playing the Championship in their new stadium. So, and I think they need, and it'd be nice for them to stay up do that for Bill Kenwright and his family, rest in peace, because the guy was a true blue, a true Everton fan, not just a fan, a chairman, fan. He was like he was their guy. He loved the club, and I don't think he'd be happy now, seeing how the club's in disarray, how it is right now. So yeah.
Well, they're currently 16th in the table on 7 points. Behind them, they've got Luton Town on 5 points, Burnley on 4, Bournemouth on 3. Wow, and Sheffield United rock bottom on 1 point this season. So they're not far away from danger, but they're also in a somewhat okay place, but I don't think they'd want to stay there for long. Above them, it's Nottingham Forest on 10 points, and Brentford, they're joint 10 points. And obviously Fulham, Wolves above them on 11, then Crystal Palace, Chelsea on 12. So a good run of form, three good performances, they can get out of it. I mean, their last 5 games, they've lost 1, they've lost 3, and won 2. So it's loss, win, loss, win, loss. So if they can maintain that pattern, they got West Ham at the weekend. Looking at, that could be a win. Be an away win if they can do it. But they need to get some consistency, because that loss, win, it's good that they bounce back from defeats, but it's just bad that they're having the defeats. I mean, they lost 1-0 at home to Arsenal, then beat Brentford 3-1 away, lost 2-1 away to Luton Town, and then beat Bournemouth 3-0 at home, and then lost 2-0 away to Everton. So I like the fact that they're bouncing back, but I don't like that pattern, because that kind of pattern, if it plays out throughout the whole season, will get you relegated. You can't, and you might go on a bounce of 2-3 defeats. So they need to really get some runs going and kind of hopefully pull things together, because it's not a good place to be. They've conceded 14 goals this season. They've only scored 9. So they definitely have problems at the back. And that's one thing I thought they would be very good at, is being solid defensively, and it hasn't quite materialised. Is there any player that you look at in that squad and feel like they need to step up and really help the team start to pull together a run of games of results and points?
Michael Keane, he doesn't look like a confident defender at all. Every time I see him play, he either gets sent off or he gives away a goal. Him, Tarkowski, he needs to do more as a leader. He's not. He's like, I know he's trying his best, but he needs to do more as a player. He's played at Burnley. He's played at Big Club. He's played at Burnley. He knows the manager's philosophy. He needs to be demand that from the rest of this. He's the captain this season, so he needs to demand that from the players. Pickford as well. He's an England international. He's the England number 1. He needs to be a bit more vocal with his teammates and try and use his experience of playing international football and help the other players. Everton have got some good players. They've got Onana as a good player. They've got Calvert-Lewin who can score goals. I like the Beto striker. I think he's going to be a good player once he gets used to the league. He's physical. He could definitely do something for them this season. They got Jack Harrison on loan from Leeds. He can score a good goal. He can score a goal or two. You've got they got the Dwight McNeil as well, good Premier League winger. So they got good players in good position. They got, who else they got? That's it. Yeah, that's all I can think of. Yeah, they got good players. They just need to start working and gelling as a team and get them wins on the board and take it from there and try and get up the table. Because if they get that 15-point deduction, as you said, they're going to need to start winning games quick and fast, or else Christmas is around the corner. And next month is November, after that December. You don't really bottom the league in December going into the new year, because they know what happens in the Premier League history. If you're bottom the league in December, most likely you're going to be relegated in July or June, July. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the big thing. And I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to need to figure something out fast. One other team that needs to figure things out fast is Manchester United. You know, obviously they are coming off the back of the passing of Sir Bobby Charlton, sorry. And they managed to pull off a 2-1 away victory against Sheffield United. Sheffield United pulled a goal back after McTominay's opener, and then Dalot got the winner late on. Manchester United are a weird one, aren't they? In that they've won 2 games on the bounce now, because they also won in the Champions League last night. Good penalty save late on by Onana, who he needed that, because people have not really been keen, and there's been lots of talks of De Gea to come back. Not that it's happening, but some fans want him to come back. But do you think Man United are finally turning a corner, or are they still in this mediocrity land?
Well, it's hard to tell. Man United are it's like flipping a coin, heads or tails. 1 week they play well, the next week they play bad. 1 week they play well, the next week they play bad. So it's very difficult to understand what's going to happen with them. I feel like they're not playing the Man that I remember when I was young growing up here, when I used to watch United play here, they had like, when Sir Alex Ferguson was in charge, the team that used to go win the title, they'll start off of the season, they'll struggle to start the season, but then by January, February, they start picking up win, and they go on to win the title, or they come runners up. This United team have no identity. They don't know what kind of style of football they play. What's their style of football?
Honestly,
that's what I'm saying. The old Man United team, the team that won trebles, the team that won Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez, you know what kind of team they are. They're attacking football. I play from the attack, beat you on the counter attack, score or screen 3 or 4 goals. This United team is boring to watch. I'm sorry. I'd rather watch Burnley play than watch Man United play. That's how boring they are. It's rubbish, and I feel sorry for their fans as well, because a lot of them will go watch the games and they. Last night I was coming from football, and when the United fan, I was listening to the game on my phone, and the United fan said to me, he just said to me randomly, "I'm a United fan, but I don't watch the game. They're rubbish to watch. I can't watch them." And he said that so, and I was like, wow.
I got to add a point of correction here that Burnley played great football this season, so I don't think the Burnley comparison works anymore. Maybe you could say Sheffield United, Luton Town, maybe, but Burnley played good football. Like,
okay, yeah. So United. It depends. I feel like the club needs investment. They need a lot of investment, but they spent so much money on average players. Like Anthony still hasn't proven to me that he's a top player. They got Sancho, who's not. He's not even in the squad. Not even. He's out of it at all quarters.
Well, Sancho's up for sale. Let's leave it at that.
And I feel like they've got a lot of players underperforming this season. Rashford still hasn't found his form this season. Rasmus Højlund is still new to the league. He does look well. I've seen him in games. He does look well, but they need to give him more service and he will score. Onana, the jury's still out on Onana. He made a good penalty save last night, to be fair, but he still looks a bit jittery. Like he doesn't look confident at all. Harry Maguire has been under so much scrutiny this season with England and the United fans and whatever. But I feel recently he's been playing well. The last 4 games he's played, he's been playing well. They won all the games he's played. So I feel like, all this nonsense about him not being good, he's doing a job for the team. So, and he was going to be sold in the summer, and he's doing a job when the manager didn't want him. So he's playing on borrowed time at the moment. Come January, we'll see if they're going to keep him or sell him. So, he's doing what he needs to do. Yeah.
What do you think Man United need to do to turn things around on the pitch? Obviously, we can talk about ownership. We can talk about the club being sold, and obviously the latest of the ownership takeover investment thing is obviously I think the Saudi Qatari representative has dropped out.
Yeah, it says like John Radcliffe trying to buy the club.
So Jim Radcliffe's trying to buy a stake in the club, around 15%. The problem with that is if he's successful, then the Glazers take the credit. If it fails, then nothing changes for them.
Definitely.
So it's a bit of a weird one. But what do you think they need to do on the pitch to get the club back to where we all know Man United to be? I mean, we don't like Man United, but at least we want to have Man United that we don't like that's actually good on the pitch as well. So justifiable reasons, rather than the Man United they just don't like because they're crap.
He needs to look at Man United. Ten Hag needs to look at the United club, the winning teams from the past, get a video of all the winning teams that have won trophies at the club, show the players this is what you need to do to be. Maybe need some ex-players old players who have won big trophies at the club to come and talk to the players and say, listen, this is not the way how Man United play football. This is how we play. What feelings how United used to play and play that type of football.
But do you not also think at the same time, living in the shadow of what the club's greats used to do, isn't that also part of the problem? Because one of the things I like when Arsene Wenger left Arsenal, even though for Unai Emery, he went too far, but he tried to make the club his own by getting rid of some of the older stuff in the training ground, trying to move us away from the Arsenal philosophy to his own. So it didn't feel like we had the shadow of Wenger, looming at everything he did, even though we remembered what Wenger brought, the good stuff, and Emery's stuff wasn't good. But do you think Man United's actual issue is more because of the past, the success they've had, and people wanting that football back, rather than Ten Hag actually putting his own style on the team? Because the last manager, I think, that really imprinted the style of Manchester United is Louis van Gaal. And we saw how that ended.
Yeah, I feel like you're right. I feel like Ten Hag needs to put his start. But he might turn around and say he hasn't got the players that he wanted to play the style of football he wants to play. Well, that's pathetic because they backed him a lot. They gave him a lot of money to buy players. Yeah, that's real. He bought Anthony for awful lot of money. He bought Martinez from Ajax. He brought in Amrabat on loan from Fiorentina. He brought in Onana, Højlund.
Malacia.
Yeah, and where are these players doing? They haven't really. Well, Eriksen as well. He brought in Eriksen. He knew him from Ajax. So he's brought in a lot of players that he wanted. He might say he's still got a lot of deadwood left in the club he wants to get rid of, like maybe the Maguires of the world, maybe the Martials of the world, and players like that. But at the end of the day, you got to work with the tools you get given. You can't be making excuses every week. Oh, I don't have my squad. I don't have this. I don't have that. You have to work with what you got and make it happen. So he needs to, because he could be, if Man United form goes down again, he could be in trouble to be sacked.
You think so?
I think so.
I mean, they're currently 8th in the table on 15 points. They're 1 point behind Brighton and Newcastle are both on 16. They're 5 points behind the top 4. Liverpool in 4th on 20 points. It's a weird place to be. Their form is they have won 3 and lost 2 out of their last 5. They're on a 2-game win streak right now, and they've got Man City next on Sunday.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be 3-3, or it could be a heavy defeat because Rodri's back.
Either way.
Tough one. But you think he could be at risk of being fired next? If they keep performing badly, he could be at risk of being fired.
And I feel like if John Radcliffe, I'm hearing rumours that John Radcliffe wants to employ Potter as the new Man United manager. I've been hearing that rumour a lot recently. Look at the job he did at Chelsea. So we don't know about that one, mate.
Yeah, I think the thing is, I don't think Potter's a bad manager, but I think to go into Man United with the problems they have, that would not be the right move. And I don't think it would make sense from my point of view to go to him. Unless if he's taken a lot of time to reflect on how things went wrong at Man United, at Chelsea rather, and he feels like he can impose his personality better at Man United, maybe. But I don't know. To be honest, I think Ten Hag needs to figure things out because right now the smell coming out of Manchester ain't good at all. I guess just to wrap things up, let's look ahead to the weekend's fixtures. So coming up on Friday, we've got Crystal Palace against Spurs at Selhurst Park. What are you expecting?
I'm hoping a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. You're hoping for. What are you expecting?
I think Spurs will win that comfortably, 3-1.
All right, well, Palace, you know what to do, yeah? No pressure. Do it for Dom. Shout out Dr. Dom. Next, on Saturday, we've got Chelsea-Brentford kicking us off at 12:30 at the Bridge.
Chelsea win.
Chelsea win. It could be a draw. I'm going to go for a draw. Arsenal-Sheffield United at the Emirates.
Home banker.
Home banker too. Bournemouth versus Burnley at Vitality.
Burnley win.
Burnley need the points. They've won 1 in their last 5. They're on a 2-game losing streak, so it would be nice if they can pull off a 3-point win. Bournemouth as well. They have lost 4 of their last 5, drawing 1. So either way, both teams need 3 points. I'm going to call that as a draw because when both teams need it that badly, it doesn't ever go well. Wolves Newcastle at Molineux.
Wow, that could be a draw. Wow, let me see. Wolves are in good form. They won the last 2 games. Newcastle have won the last 6 games. I'm gonna sneak a Newcastle 2-0 win.
That's 2-0 win. And then of course West Ham Everton.
West Ham win.
West Ham win. I'm hoping Everton can pull off a cheeky win to keep that bounce run going. Then we've got Aston Villa versus Luton at Villa Park.
Home win.
Home win. Brighton versus Fulham at the Amex.
Fulham's form has been very poor this season. They're struggling. They're struggling for scoring goals. So I think Brighton will win. If Brighton doesn't get any more injuries, I think the Brighton will win that comfortably.
Yeah, I'm calling Villa win and Brighton win. And then Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest at Anfield.
You know what, yeah?
Forest might do something.
I thought Forest might do something. I thought it'd be a draw, a 2-2 draw.
Forest are 15th in the table. They're on 10 points right now. They have drawn their last 3 games. They've drawn the last 3 games in a row, but they've drawn 4 out of 5 and lost 1. So they need a win. Would be nice if they got a win. Liverpool are chasing down the top, so I don't see it, but we can all hope and dream. And then we move on to the final game, the Manchester derby at Old Trafford. Which way is it going, red or blue? And how big of a score do you think it will be?
You know what, yeah? When Man City played Man United at Old Trafford, yeah, they lost the last season there, They just remember they lost their last season. Everyone thought City were going to win. I personally feel that United are going to win that game, Because, 1, they're at home, and 2, they have to get that bounce back effect to keep on winning. So I feel that maybe United can sneak it, maybe a 2-1 win.
Jeremy Doku to get 1, Haaland to get a hat-trick. That's what I'm saying. Man City are going to slap them out.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
We will. And thanks for listening. We'll be back with our reactions to most of those games next week. We're also going to do a deep dive very soon on strikers because there's a lot of talk about the strikers market. And I think after what Jesus did, the question we're going to ask each other is, what does he need to go from being an okay striker to a certified striker? This is us signing out from One Kick from Glory. See you all next time.
Peace.